DAOs, how they work and why they matter this evening. And then these are the things that we'll be discussing. What is a DAO, the history of DAOs, where they come from, how they come into existence, and being the types of DAOs, how DAOs work, the pros and cons of DAO, that is the advantages and the disadvantages of the DAO, why DAOs matter, and then we'll conclude. So please let me know if anybody have uh, had any interaction or has been in any DAO in this meeting, or you have ever been in a DAO. You can unmute and talk before we continue. So nobody has been in a DAO. All right.
Good evening. I've not been in a DAO, but it's one of the aspects of blockchain that I really cherish so much and I hope to know more about.
All right. So by the grace of God, we'll get to know more about what a DAO is this evening. So what is a DAO? A DAO is an decentralized autonomous organization. It's a blockchain governance system that is developed to distribute decision making, management, and entity ownership. That means when we said something is a DAO, it's based on blockchain. And then on the blockchain, it addresses governance. And then it talks about or address management, entity ownership. They are completely transparent. I know we have learned a lot about Web3. So many tutors have done justice to from the beginning, from the first day when Dr. Dami talked about what Web3 is. So you know that Web3 is transparent, and then in a DAO, you can make decisions using a bottom-up management approach. That means it's not like the management that we are used to, that used to come from the leadership up downwards. Like in a country, I think we have the president, we have the vice president, we talk of chief of staff, ministers, governors, down to the lowest, which is the councillor. So, but then in a DAO, it's not like that. In a DAO, the management or the decision making is from bottom, it goes up. That is why it is decentralized, it's completely transparent. So we'll see the key features or the principles of a DAO. What are those things that a DAO relies on that makes it to be a DAO? That is from the name decentralized, and then autonomous, and then it's an organization. So number one, we see decentralization. Decentralization is the first, because when you are talking about Web3, you're talking about blockchain, the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is decentralization. So decentralization is the power and decision making in decentralization are in a DAO, they are distributed among community members. Instead of some some people to take the glory or some people to make decisions only, and then at the end of the day, please, if you're not speaking, you can mute your mic. I think someone is echoing so that others can hear us. Thank you. So power and decision making are distributed among community members rather than concentrated in a central authority. Instead of is to be, okay, let's make this one to be the head. Now, because it is decentralized, there are decision makings and power, since it is a community, is distributed among members of that particular community rather than just giving it to a central authority. So that is the decentralization. Then it is autonomous. It's a DAO operates according to many processes and reducing the need for human intermediaries. That is, uh, there are no third parties uh, in a DAO. No one will come and say, okay, the president says this, and then this is what we are expected to do. No, the members decide. And when the members decide, because it is encoded with smart contracts, I know the Muhammad Awal have done justice to smart contracts, and then we have learned a lot about what smart contracts are. So the this DAO, they operates according to predefined rules of that operates on smart contracts. And then transparency, like we said, they are completely transparent. So the rules and transactions, because there are transactions that occurs in a DAO because it's a community, and then because it operates on blockchain, and then the transactions that are in DAO are they are public, recorded on the blockchain, making them transparent and auditable. So everybody can be able to see it. It's not like in your own organization where you work, or uh, the country, let's say Nigeria, when we have been crying of corruption, allocation is being given to state government every month, and then we are not seeing what the governors are doing. You will not even know how much, except federal government said, okay, so state has been given so allocation. But in a DAO, it's not like that. Everything is transparent because it is public, it is recorded on the blockchain. Every member can go and see it. So um, another feature is a DAO. DAOs are community driven. They are community driven because without community, there will not be DAOs. So DAOs rely on participation and voting of their members to make decisions about the organization's direction and operations. So the community there is what matters in a DAO, not the founder of the DAO, not the members, the inner caucus. No, the community is what matters because voting and participation of everything in the community comes from the members of the organization. And then DAOs are token based. Membership and voting rights in the DAO are often represented by tokens, which can be bought and sold on cryptocurrency exchanges. So DAO is token based. That means um, before okay, we are going to see more about this. Let me just reserve what I want to see here. We'll see this later uh, in the discussion. So the history of DAO, it was in 2016, not just far, a German startup called Slug.it published a white paper scoping their idea for a decentralized autonomous organization named the DAO that will essentially work as a pooled investment vehicle to fund other startups in the blockchain space. So this is when the DAO started. So uh, the DAO was designed to be completely open. You can see the transparency. Anyone interested in participating in the DAO could buy in by purchasing its tokens. So the native cryptocurrency of Ethereum in exchange for the DAO tokens. That was what happened. Then buying in and committing your ETH to the DAO attract rights to vote in the investment decisions of the DAO. So, okay, now the DAO want to be investing in crypto startups in the blockchain space. So they now wrote a white paper with the idea of forming this DAO, a community, so that it will be transparent and it will be open. So you buy it and then you commit your ETH so that you'll be able to vote in the investment decisions. You see how interesting a DAO can be. Uh, you just you, what you just need is, if the DAO have a uh, a token, you just buy, you just hold a number of the tokens, then you have a right of voting in every decision that is going to happen in the DAO. So you don't, that's one of the criteria that you need. So this is what happens in the first DAO that came into existence in Germany. But then if you go and read further, you see that okay, there was issues. The DAO faced so many issues. At the end of the day, it was attacked. It faced so many attacks, and then at the end of the day, it has to close down. But then this is the history of DAO, how DAOs came into existence, and what we have today as DAOs that we are operating on. So, what are the type of DAOs that we have? We have different type of DAOs based on the specific role or what you want to do with that DAO. We have protocol DAOs. These DAOs governs the rules and operation of decentralized protocols like lending platforms or exchanges, ensuring they operate as intended. Some examples include the MakerDAO and the Uniswap. I know many of us here are conversant with Uniswap. You must have had one or two transactions in, with Uniswap. So Uniswap is an example of protocol DAOs. They what they do is they govern the rules of operations of decentralized protocols like lending and borrowing of or exchanges, and ensuring they operate as intended, so that everything people do, especially when it comes to this lending um, and borrowing, issues will come. So that was like Uniswap, protocol that ensure that rules that guides the operation of lending and borrowing are of decentralized protocols are as and they operate the way they are supposed to operate. And then we have grant DAOs. These DAOs focus on distributing funds. So if you are here and then you are looking for grants to build an idea or a startup in the Web3 space, there are actually there are grant DAOs that you can reach out to. They support specific projects, ideas, or individuals within the decentralized ecosystem, because what they just support is within this Web3 ecosystem. They don't go outside decentralized ecosystem, because these DAOs are what you remember, they are decentralized systems. So and then we have philanthropy DAOs. These DAOs, they are just for philanthropy. They pool resources and they support charitable causes in transparent and efficient manner. Just recently, I think there is this project that I saw, is a DAO that is a philanthropy DAO in Nigeria that wants to start operating just to support flood victims. Flood victims. So you begin to imagine this kind of ideas. this kind of good startups that are in the blockchain space, the Web3 space. So, and then we have social DAOs. Like these DAOs are created by communities around shared interests like arts, music, social causes, even the social medias to foster collaboration and networking. So if you are an artist, maybe you are an MC, you can, because there are so many opportunities in the Web3 space that you can leverage onto. Just look at what you are good at, and then at the end of the day, if you are the kind of a social person that you are into music or you're into art or anything social, that you can look at this kind of DAOs like the social DAO. They create communities, then they shared ideas, they shared interests to foster collaboration and networking. And then when you look deep into what they are doing, you'll be amazed. Then you will know that yes, really it is decentralized. And then we have collector DAOs. So please let me know if I can be heard. Let me not just be speaking to myself.
Yeah, clear.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, we
All
can.
right. Thank you. So we have collector DAOs. These DAOs enable members to pool resources to purchase and manage valuable assets. I know that someone has talked about real world assets. So assets like NFTs and other collections like real world assets are part of collector DAO. So you can see how the Web3 ecosystem is developing, how opportunities are there plenty in the Web3 ecosystem. And then we have venture DAOs. This one, if you have heard of venture capitalists, the VCs, these DAOs focus on investing in early stage projects and startups, opting within the Web3 space. So what they just did is they invest. These ones, they are not grant given DAOs like uh, we saw earlier. No, this one they are venture capitalists. They invest in your project, and then the decisions are being made within the DAO. Someone will make a proposal. Okay, there is this social project that we I see we need to invest. Then uh, they will vote, and then at the end of the day, if the vote passed, so they will release so amount of money. How much do we want to invest? Okay, we want to invest so amount of money. We want to invest $1,000. Want to invest $10,000 into the project, and then at the end of the day, they invest into the project. And uh, if the owners of the project accept, at the end of the day, that this is how this kind of DAOs. Uh, and then we have media DAOs. These DAOs, they are designed to create, to distribute content in a decentralized way. Amazing. I know, maybe you must be hearing this for the first time that there are media DAOs. So even I think I was having a discussion with someone that studied mass communication, and then we were talking about DAOs. We are talking about my the DAO that I founded, and then I told him that about media DAOs, and he was amazed and said, "Ah, is it like everything this blockchain can do?" I said there are so many opportunities. So you see, this kind of DAOs, they are created and designed in a way to create content. So if you're a content creator, you can decide to look at this type of DAOs, the media DAOs, and then started releasing content for us in a decentralized way. So I think this will go a long way. And then often giving creators equity in the content they produce. So if the content you produce are decentralized, number one, you have the advantage of the ownership. nobody will come and steal it from you. It's just like an NFT to you. And then at the end of the day, it can be you can produce something like a that is real. So this is about media DAOs. And then we have service DAOs. These DAOs provide specific services within the crypto or blockchain space, such as development, consulting, or marketing. So if you are a marketer in the blockchain space, if you are a consultant, and if you are into development or you are a developer, you can look into service DAOs. So this is specifically what they do. So these are the type of DAOs that we have, and then uh, let's see, how does a DAO work? How does a DAO work? So in a DAO, members don't need to know each other physically. Like uh, I know that I've not met so many of you. I think very few people in this call. Let me say uh, not more than maybe two or three that I've come in contact with. But then we are talking. So DAOs in a DAO, members doesn't need to know each other physically. Everything is organized remotely at the comfort of your home, transparently through smart contracts. The basic operating flow is as follows. That this is what we are going to see. So first of all, if when a DAO has been formed, and then at the end of the day, everything is set in place. There are uh, governing board members depending on the number of the the team that the DAO started with. So there is a proposal. If you have ever been in a DAO, you see people making proposals based on the kind of DAO that you are in. So members suggest a proposal. This can range from allocating funds to making strategic decisions. As a member, first of all, there are rules that governs that DAO. So one of the rules is you have to be a token holder of that DAO. Maybe there's a native token. Let's say, um, let's give an example. Let's say there's a DAO that is a grant giving DAO, and then a member is holding about 10,000 pieces of that DAO. Then you make a proposal, you write a proposal. Okay, there's I want so you know how to write a proposal. If you don't know how to write a proposal, maybe you get to learn that. But then you write a proposal allocating or seeking for funds to make a strategic decision or to look for a grant, since we're talking about a grant DAO now. So when you make that proposal, you submit. Because it is open, members will now vote. This is what happens. They will be voting now. People will now vote, and after voting, if the votes pass, this is the voting. Members who hold the native DAO token can vote for or against the proposal that you submitted. So generally votes are weighted based on the number of tokens each member holds. Uh, some of the rules that I saw most in most DAOs, you see 50 plus one vote. That is a half plus one. Then if you have up to that number, it has voting has passed, then what will happen is there will be automatic execution because it is on a smart contract. So if the proposal reaches the required threshold of votes, because everything happens on the blockchain, it's not like paper and pencil or a normal what will I call it, voting system that we just would that will create and everybody will vote. No, is on blockchain. So once the vote has passed, the proposal reaches the required threshold of votes that is required, then the smart contract automatically executes the action. You see how important it is. And then this can be transferred of funds to the implementation of a strategy or whatsoever the grants or whatsoever the proposal is after. So this is what happens actually. So from proposal to voting, then to automatic execution because it is on smart contract. So you can see it is transparent. It is transparent. It's not something that somebody somewhere will just come and hijack and then show you that, okay, I have a godfather, I have an insider, let me talk to him. And then he will write instead of you to get it, then they will now corner it and give to somebody because he has an insider or a godfather inside. So that is why it is decentralized. So this is how DAOs work. This is how people are able to operate DAOs. So let's look at the pros, that is the advantages and the disadvantages of DAO. So number one, we will see elimination of intermediaries. DAOs eliminate the need for centralized authority. That is one. You don't need a central authority. So thereby reducing costs and streamlining processes. So it reduces costs and then all the processes they go as planned the way they are supposed to go. It is not there is no corruption in it. It increases transparency. So since everything is registered on the blockchain, any member can audit financial decisions and movement. That is, you can check and see the financial decisions. So people that are corrupt don't will not want to come to blockchain. They will not want to come and operate on the DAO because it is increasing transparency. And then everything that you need about the DAO, you see it. Nobody will cut corners because it is not in the hands of one person to be able to decide what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. And then democratic participation. Every member has a voice in important decisions because we said democracy is for the people, by the people, and what's the other thing that they even say about democracy? But then we are not seeing it in a centralized authority system that we are practicing. So uh, every voice is important in making decisions in DAO. It fostering a culture of participation and collective responsibility. So collectively, the responsibility is together for every other person in the community, in the organization. So that is, there are so many advantages of the DAO, but then this is uh, because of, I don't want to make too much noise. These are some of the advantages of a DAO. But then, because these DAOs or the blockchain system is still new to many individuals, then there are still disadvantages. You remember from the history, I told you that the first DAO was had security issues, and then at the end of the day, it was closed down. But then, so technical complexity. Creating and maintaining a DAO may require a high level of technical knowledge. So someone that has not gone to school will find it hard to understand what's really and how a DAO is supposed to operate. So it needs a high level of technical knowledge, even though with the advancement of knowledge, we are seeing how things are coming into place. That once you can operate a smartphone, everything will just fall in place for you. And then security risk. Although smart contracts are powerful, if misspelled, they can be vulnerable to hacks or exploits. I'm not a developer, but I think developers have will do justice to this. They know. And then if you have ever lost something or your wallet has ever been hacked, you know what I mean. So you can be vulnerable to hacks or exploit. And then slow decisions. Democratic decisions making can be slower, especially if the community is large. If the DAO community is so large, is big, at the end of the day, the decisions can be slower. But then with the integration of AI now in DAOs, we are seeing decisions are becoming faster. So let's see, why does DAO matter? Why is it important that we have been talking about these DAOs? So uh, decentralized autonomous organization, they reduce bureaucracy. There is no need to fill a ton of papers and wait until the administration approves it. All transactions are managed by smart contracts, like we said. In a normal traditional system that will operate, if you're looking for something, if a decision will be made, even just imagine, even if it is a normal small election that you do, if maybe a club in a school or a fellowship in a school or an organization in school, you have to bring papers, you vote, you do this, you do that, you do that. But in a DAO, all there you don't need to fill all these ton of papers and wait for administration to approve it. No. If you're looking for something, you just write, like we have seen, you just write a proposal, and once it passed the voting criteria automatically, you see. So this is why, and no one can bribe it. Like I said, you don't need to have an insider, you don't need to have a father, you don't have to be you don't have to be your own boss is there that will now fast track the process for you. How I wish that there are job DAOs that once people are qualified, they just get that job automatically. So, but then I trust and I hope that with time we are going to see something like this coming into place. So the only way to approve the transaction is by meeting prescribed requirements like we have seen, and no one can change the smart contract details single-handedly because there is DAOs operates on multi-signature, because it's not I'm not if I'm operating a DAO, I'm not the only person that will be able to monitor everything that is happening. So the only way to approve the transaction is when you meet the pre-described requirements, then automatically you get it. No favor. So all DAO members have the chance to participate in the decision making process. So I hope we are making progress. If you are getting something out of it, please let me know. If you are following, let me know.
We are following.
All right, thank you.
We are following.
So, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
we are with you.
Yeah, so all DAOs, they are transparent, Their rules and procedures are stored in the public ledger. So no one can be able to temper it. Anyone can check the fairness of the system. I think we have mentioned this. So, but then these organizations, they are also most cost efficient since they don't require the same level of durance. So DAOs potentially can be scaled to accommodate any number of members and transactions. They are not limited to a single authority point. With modern consensus mechanisms and with sidechains, layer 2 and sharding solutions, they can meet almost infinite scalability. So you see, because of the advancement that we are seeing with the even though the number is much, you cannot say okay because the number is much the DAO is not going to operate. No, because or with modern consensus mechanisms, side chains, layer 2s, sharding solutions, they can meet almost infinite scalability. So these are some of the things that why DAOs matter. So DAOs in the future, I know that we are anticipating, and then we are believers of the blockchain. We are believers of Web3. That is why all of us are here. So what will happen with DAOs in the future? Uh, are DAOs going to die? Will DAOs stop to exist? DAOs are still in their infant stages. So we'll see many changes. We'll see an increased role of those organizations in the centralized finance system. Yeah, we are going to see the increase of DAOs in the DeFi system. And then we are going to see the increase of DAO in so many areas, specifically because we have seen the different type of DAOs. We have seen the different areas where this kind of DAOs can actually operate. So DeFi allows people to learn, borrow, invest money without a centralized intermediary. DAOs can manage funds and make decisions in a decentralized approach. And then one thing that I like and I love with the DeFi lending and borrowing and investing money in on the blockchain is completely different from the way it is in the centralized system. So DAOs can manage funds and make decisions in a decentralized approach. So and then decentralized organizations will also become an integral part of Web3. The more user-centric and decentralized vision of the internet will also see the huge use of AI services in DAOs. And then AI can automate tasks and decision processes, improving the organization's efficiency. So when people are saying that, oh, AI is coming to take your job, AI, no, me, I don't believe that too, because AI is coming to complement what you are doing. It's coming to make your work easier. So in decentralized organizations, because they are becoming an integral part of the Web3 ecosystem, we are going to see more and more user-centric and decentralized version of the internet. And then with AI being incorporated, so the future is actually bright for DAOs. Then blockchain scalability is a major challenge we need to overcome to see the true power of DAO. Sharding, sidechains, and layer 2 solutions can partially solve this problem, because innovations are going in on and on every day. An innovation of what's going to happen with DAOs in the future can actually come from you. Who knows? So DAOs will become more popular. There's a growing need for regulation because this our generation we have been matched so much, and then we want transparency. So there's growing need for this regulation. It may take a few years to get a tremendous regulatory base for these organizations, We all should be prepared for this uncertainty period. And then overall, DAO has a bright future. I personally, I am seeing a bright future with DAOs because when this technology can be used to create new governance forms, financial systems, and international teams. So there's a future that is bright for the DAO. So in conclusion, DAO's meaning is pretty simple. They are services that run on smart contracts and connect people for different purposes. DAOs are an integral part of blockchain. And then, as we saw, the history started back in 2016 when people believed in the potential of decentralized organizations. So the first few DAOs have severe smart contract vulnerabilities, so developers shut them down. And then, as of today, these organizations are far more secure. They are transparent, they are efficient, and mostly autonomous. So those organizations that are run by smart contracts, not by people. They can't become corrupted. All members have the opportunity to participate in decision making. I think we have done justice to this. And then, however, there are still plenty of challenges to overcome, actually. The main challenge is scalability, which we have been mentioning. DAOs need to accommodate a large number of members and transactions. So developers need to use layer 2 and sharding solutions to ensure that people can use DAOs without interruptions. And then other vital challenges are security and issues with decision-making processes. Despite all these problems, DAOs have a great chance to redefine the blockchain future. As DAOs continue to evolve, we'll see them more and more and more. We'll see them coming into every aspect of our life because they will be making decisions easier, they will be making things transparent, and then at the end of the day, everything is going to uh, fall in place. So personally, as a founder of a DAO, I so much believe in DAOs. I so much believe in the future. I so much believe that DAOs are going to uh, reduce corruption to a minimal state. And then with time, we are going to see what we have been hoping for at the end of the day. So thank you for your attention and thank you for listening to me. I I know and I hope that you have learned something